how do you stay motivated with your goals? Once you have made a list of all the things you want to accomplish and all the things you want to do, how do you stay motivated? Well, that's what we're going to cover in today's video. Don't forget to subscribe as I release new videos like this each and every week. Hey everybody, Dan Henry here. I'm a Wall Street Journal best-selling author, international speaker, and 8-figure entrepreneur, founder of GetClients.com. And I love sharing my knowledge here on YouTube. Now, last video, we did a video on the focus list, how to decide what to focus on. And that's this list that I have right here. Just to summarize, you make a list of all the things that are bad in your life. You make a list of the things that you would have to do to fix these things, and you order it by priority. If you want a deeper look into the focus list, please make sure to go back and look at my previous video on the focus list to get detailed with that. Okay, but how do we stay motivated when we are actually implementing this list? So that's what I'm going to talk about. So once you make a list of all of the bad things in your life, right? And you say, okay, I'm overweight. I got a bad relationship with my father. I'm not making enough money. You make this list, okay? Here's what I'd like you to do. After you prioritize that list, and after you decide what are the things, for instance, you're overweight, you got to diet and exercise. You don't have enough money, you got to start a business or ask for a raise from your boss. You have a bad relationship with your father, you got to make that uncomfortable phone call you've been waiting years to make. Whatever it is, here's what you have to do. How do you stay motivated to do it? So here's what I want you to do. Sit down. Think of a negative situation that you have to fix. Maybe you want to do this in the morning. Maybe you want to do this before you go to bed, whenever it is. Maybe you do this right before you're taking action. When you're planning your day, when you're deciding, hey, here's what I'm going to do. Think and say, in 6 months, in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years, what will my life look like if I don't do this? What? And this is kind of tough, but what will I look like? What will I feel like if I'm overweight in 5 years? Will I not be able to play with my kids? Will I be dead? And if I'm dead, will my wife be crying for me? Will she be sitting alone trying to explain to her son why his father is gone? Or will she be running around happy with another man? Whatever it is. And I know that sounds a little bit tough to swallow, but what about not having enough money? What about that? What about having a bad relationship with your father? Think about 2 years from now, 5 years from now, when you're attending your father's funeral and you're thinking to yourself, if I would have just made that phone call, if I would have just made amends. Because nobody ever thinks of the future, they think of right now. And most of the time, living in the now is a great thing. But if you want the now to matter, you have to think about the future. Think about what will happen. And don't just think about it. Smell it, taste it, feel it. Literally, be outside at that funeral. You smell freshly cut grass. You hear the crying and the whimpering of your family off 10, 15 feet away. You hear the iron from the gears that lower that casket down 6 feet into the ground, cranking. You hear the wind blowing. Really be in that moment. Make it real. Because if you don't make it real and you don't motivate yourself to make that change, it will become real. Let me give you a perfect example. I wanted to write a book. Always wanted to write a book. And I had a basic idea of what I wanted to write. I had a basic idea of what I was going to do. but I never had the motivation to do it. And this was one of the times when I realized how powerful this technique is. Russell Brunson, who's the owner, founder, CEO of ClickFunnels, he has this huge conference every year. It's called Funnel Hacking Live. Big, like 5,000-6,000 people. Literally the marketing conference, right? Well, I never thought I was going to be able to speak because, I made millions and millions of dollars. I used their software. I achieved everything there was to achieve in that world. And every year I would never get asked to speak. Now, I didn't know why. I thought maybe my brand was a little too abrasive for them, or I didn't honestly know. But I just thought it was never a possibility. And so I didn't bother to do certain things like, prepare, because I always thought if I could speak there, I'd give a book away. I'd give a free book to everybody. And that would probably grow my brand and my business so much if I did that. Because I've seen other people do that, and it worked really well. I heard stories of people going to all these different conferences, giving out a free book, and their business just exploding. And so what I did was I delayed. I didn't think about it. Well, one day, about maybe 40 days before the next Funnel Hacking Live, Russell calls me up and says, "Dan, I'd love you to speak." And I was like, "This is amazing. Oh my goodness," and I'm like, I gotta do my speech, and I pretty much knew what I was gonna speak about. But then I thought, wait a minute. This is the perfect opportunity to do the book thing. But it was only, 30, 40 days out. So I said to Russ, let me ask you a question. If I got a book together, I don't even think I told him that. I think I told him that I already had it together. But I said, if I can get them printed in time to make it to the event facility, can I give a free copy away on every seat? And he says, yeah. And of course, when he says, yeah, I go, oh my goodness. So over the next 30 days, I use my circle of focus technique, which I've talked about in other videos, to write that book in 30 days. And I wrote that book in 30 days, had it edited, photo shoot, cover, everything. And it was on seats, printed the whole 9 yards. And from putting that book on every single seat, we've generated about $2 million just from that, plus blew my brand, blew my name up like crazy. And that's this book right here, which again, 30 days. 30 days it took to write this, the photo shoot, everything. And it became a Wall Street Journal bestseller. By the way, if you want a copy of this book, I'll leave a link in the description where you can grab it for free and we'll ship it out to you. Just pay shipping. But I digress. 30 days. Now, you might say, Dan, how did you stay motivated to get this done? It's very simple. I close my eyes and I imagine if I go through all this work and I get up on stage and I deliver this great speech and I have nothing to give them. They just say, "Hey, Dan, that was a great speech. Have a nice day." And I thought, this is my opportunity. How many millions of dollars in revenue am I going to miss out on? How much? It was the perfect moment. It was the perfect moment for this to be released. And I thought, what would my life be like if I did not take advantage of this? And every day when I woke up, every day, I thought about that. And at the same time, and here's where, in case you get a little too doom and gloom, because a lot of people, they think about the positive, right? They think about, well, what my life will be like when I have a book. And that's great. That's good. That's a good way to motivate. But when you never think about the negative, there's no sense of urgency. There's no true, back against the wall motivation. Because we all know as human beings, when our back's against the wall, that's when we perform the best, right? There's been story of mothers lifting cars off of their children because of the adrenaline boost they got. So I like to tap into that. Now, I always did think, hey, what it'll be like. Yeah, it'll be like everybody will have my book. They'll love it. We'll have tons of clients come from getting free books, 6,000 books all given out at the same time. Sure, yes, absolutely. I did think about that. But ultimately, what really drove me to get it done was that sense of urgency, that thing that made me move. It made me get up 2 hours early every day. It made me focus. It gave me that motivation to get it done because I could not imagine my life without taking advantage of that opportunity. So that is my recommendation to you. The next time you want to get motivated to do something is think about what your life will be like if you don't do it. Taste it, feel it, smell it, close your eyes, be there so that you never have to actually be there. Be there in your mind so you can avoid down the line being there in real life, and you can take advantage of the dream that you envisioned. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe so you can get more of them. I'll see you in the next one.